everybody, I'm Lara Trump coming to you from Studio 45 at Trump Tower in New York City. The hateful media and Democrats just can't help themselves from spreading fake news about Donald Trump. Joining me to discuss the latest misfires from the left is a MAGA conservative radio show host, John Fredricks. John, thank you so much for joining me. It's great to get you on the show.
Thanks for having me, Laura. It's great to be back.
All right, so the president just returned from a successful trip to Japan. We all saw it all weekend long. The left claimed it accomplished nothing, of course. Yet the trip profiled a crucial alliance for leverage against China and North Korea, right? What were your thoughts on the trip?
Well, the legacy lying fake news media now in America is simply not going to give this president credit for any accomplishment, regardless of what it is. So the reporting of news now takes a backseat to partisan rhetoric nonsense. This was a historic trip the president took to Japan in further melding the relationship between Japan and the United States. And three major things came out of it, Laura, that the fake news just wouldn't bother to report on. The first is the alliance militarily between the two countries juxtaposed to North Korea. I think it was critical that both President Trump and Prime Minister Abe be on the same page as it results to how to handle the North Korean conflict, the testing, the proliferation of nuclear arms, and that was critical. The second was responding to the Chinese and to the Chi-Coms. And I think what the president was able to do with Prime Minister Abe is get Japan to understand that he has a different trade vision for the United States as it relates to China. They've been stealing our intellectual property, dumping goods, taking our jobs, putting industries under. He was able to get Japan's leadership to understand what he was doing there and how he holds all the cards. And the third thing was the bilateral trade negotiation between Japan and the United States. And as you know, in the past, Japan has had the upper hand in their trade with us, with tariffs that only go one way. And so he's striking a better bilateral trade deal with the Japanese, where we're able to manufacture things in the United States and get them to Japan in order to increase our job flow in manufacturing in the United States. So those were the three major accomplishments that came out of it that nobody mentioned.
Yeah, it's funny. It sounds like you don't think that the media fully portrayed the president's trip accurately, John, if I'm hearing you correctly, which we're not surprised about. They do that all the time. Now, by the way, while overseas, the president commented about U.S. politics, and the left went crazy and raged that he violated a cardinal rule of diplomacy. Now, I don't know about you, John, but I don't think regular Americans really care about the establishment's, quote, rules when it comes to pretty much any of this kind of stuff.
Laura, who cares? People want jobs and better pay. They want their children to be able to get out of the basement and pay off their college debt. They want to have a future for their families. They want to put food on the table and go on vacation. They don't care about these protocol establishment rules. Look, this president has broke every single one of them. And the more he breaks them, the more his base is motivated by it. So he doesn't care what some protocol is. Look, he doesn't really care what elites in Brussels or Washington or New York City think about what he says. He doesn't care, nor should he.
He doesn't care, no, and you're right, he shouldn't care because he is actually delivering results, which is the big difference. Instead, he is working with different countries around this world, standing up for our country, standing up for the United States of America, and he's saying we're not going to get ripped off anymore, and I don't really care what the protocol dictates. Here's my expectation, and I want you guys to get it done. So I want to switch gears for a second because we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Mueller. It just won't go away. We can't escape because Mueller just did a press conference this past week. We didn't get a whole lot of new information out of it. In fact, we still know that there was no collusion with Russia, that the president didn't collude with Russia, the campaign didn't collude with Russia, but he felt the need to come out and address the public. What were your thoughts on that?
It was a whiny, sniveling, weasel press conference that didn't amount to a hill of beans. Why did he even have it? He had it, Laura, because he's part of the entire Get Trump Out coup deep state network. 2 years, $35 million, 550 witnesses, 550 subpoenas, hundreds of thousands of emails subpoenaed. What did they get out of it? Nothing. That was a political press conference that had nothing to do with the facts. The facts are he's innocent, he didn't do anything. And if the Democrats, Laura, don't want to move on, don't. They can keep investigating him. It's going to cost them in 2020.
I found it very telling, John, I don't know if you did too, that the media was not sure if they liked Bob Mueller after the initial report came out, because they all were putting all of their hopes and dreams into the fact that he was going to find something on this president, that he would find something to charge him with, that he did something wrong. And when he came out with the initial report and that nothing was there, we found out he didn't collude and that all the things they had said they were sure he had done, he hadn't. They were pretty upset with him and they gave him a hard time. Then right after this press conference, I found it very interesting that so many of these outlets and so many of these anchors all of a sudden turned around and championed him and thought he was the greatest guy. I don't think it's lost on anyone what is really going on here. So I think the American people see very clearly exactly what this is, and it's exactly what you said. It was just a whole lot of nothing, a waste of time, a waste of energy. But hopefully now we can all move on. We will certainly see. Now, I want to ask you, do you find that your radio listeners, who are real Americans, John, are they more committed to the president's reelection now as the economy continues its record growth, as we see so many positive things changing in this country for everyday Americans? How do you think they feel about reelecting this president?
Well, to answer your question, Laura, the answer is an unequivocal yes. The level of enthusiasm in the Trump base that listens to me in the morning is at an all-time high. Look, a big part of it is the economy. People have jobs, they're supporting their families, they're able to go on vacation. Laura, the fake news media and the liberals and the Democrats lied about the Trump tax cut for 18 months. They lied through the midterms. They lied and lied and lied and said it was only for the big companies and the rich and middle average income Americans would get hurt by it. When the tax cut finally hit and people started doing their taxes and they found out that whether through a reduction in payroll deductions or whatever, they paid $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 less taxes, that lie evaporated. People are seeing their children get jobs out of college. They're seeing their wages go up. You have to remember, we've had 4 quarters of wage increases. We haven't had that since the 1960s. We've had 3% GNP growth. We haven't seen that in age of... Remember, Obama said the new reality is we have to live with 1%. It's the new world. We're now getting 3.5%. We have more jobs today than people to fill the jobs. Get this, the number of women who have opened up a new business in America in the last 12 months is up 114%.
Wow.
From 2016.
I didn't even know that.
114%. 65% of those women of color. So majority of minority women opening up businesses, and that has doubled. I mean, this economy is booming, Laura. It's bigger than anybody ever expected. Again, not reported on accurately, but that doesn't matter because people are living in the economy and they're seeing the benefits of it. And so it really doesn't matter what the fake news legacy media says because they're reaping the benefits of it. That's why this president is going to get reelected, Laura, only bigger.
Yep. And I think that there are so many people, too, who are sick of the fake news, who are sick of the constant bashing and attacks against our president. And they're very motivated to get out and vote for him just to say, you know what, you thought that you could trick us, you can't. and here's how I'm going to retaliate. I'm going to vote for this president again. Or maybe I didn't vote for him in 2016 because you bamboozled me a little bit and I wasn't sure if I liked this guy. Now I see the results have been delivered and it's impacting my life in a very positive way. I agree with you. I think he's going to win. But John, until then, if people want the real news, we know they can go to your radio show. They can come right here to the president's Facebook page and see what we have to say. So thank you for joining me today. And thank you every day for fighting for this country and standing behind this president.
Thanks for having me, Laura.
Most Americans see fake news for what it is, attacks against President Trump from the hateful media and the Democrats. But we must expose fake news so the truth always reaches the American people. That's the real news for today. I'm Laura Trump from Studio 45 at Trump Tower in New York City. Thanks for joining us, everybody.